Power bill through the roof? At 320 Solar, that power bill will be no more. In fact, about 90% of our customers report lower solar payments than with electricity. That's more power in your pocket. 320 Solar. Power up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com. Can be seen and heard every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. The show is sponsored by 320 Solar. Go to 320solar.com for all your solar power needs and put the power back into your pocket. Today, we're going to talk about the winning angle versus the Vikings, Madden 21 predictions, Blount Retires, one of my favorite backs. Why was Mickens let go? And injury updates, and not necessarily in that order, just giving you a menu of what's going to be talked about today. And as always, we'll hear from the sports fans in the comments section, and probably hear from Deshaun, as he always jumps in every Monday and Friday, gives us his 2 cents, 3 cents in his case, and let us know what he thinks about the upcoming game. You never know who he might jump on here. So let's talk about it. We'll talk about injuries first off. Let's first and foremost talk about injuries. Mike Evans returned to practice with a hamstring injury. Tanner Hudson is good to go. He's back. Jamil Dean, groin, may not play. Steve McClendon, elbow, limited participation. Shows him at full participation with the updated. Donovan Smith still dealing with ankle. Eric Kendrick, I had him as a spotlight player for this game, but he's out. So disregard what I had him in on my winning angle. When you watch that, it's here shortly. Kyle Rudolph, foot, and Alexander Mattson did not participate. But let me give you the exact update from Buccaneers.com that just came in right before I went live. Jamil Dean, limited participation. He's out. Levante David, full participation. Mike Evans, full. Rob Gronkowski. Chris Godwin's full. McClendon is full. Jason Pierre-Paul did not participate. Donovan Smith was full, and Ndamukong Suh did not participate, not injury related. Vikings, Eric Kendricks did not participate. Calf, he's out, which is great. I had him as a dangerous threat for the defense. I even made a small skip for him, so that's great if he's out. Mattson, the running back, did not participate. Kyle Rudolph is doubtful with his foot. And Chad Beebe, son of Don Beebe, did not participate as well, but pretty much everybody else should be ready to rock and roll for the Vikings, other than those I just named. So we'll see where that goes from there. We'll see if Jamel Dean plays. Hopefully not. Let him get a rest up again. Have somebody else come in, and Sean Murphy-Bunting got to step up, and these other guys got to step up with these injuries that are happening week to week. And I know I said Sue was out for injury, well, non-injury related. Let's see what Sue's been up to prepare himself for the Vikings. Check this out.
Just above, like, center mass.
So I'm assuming he's taking Veteran Day off to go out and shoot at the range, but clearly you can see he's not injured. I just hope he's ready to rock and roll, because they're going to need him today for these next stretch of these next 4 games to seal their path to the playoffs, which they're projected to go unless something catastrophic happens. Tampa Bay Buccaneers should go. Me and Deshaun and Giant Dean, we all talked about that on Monday. They're right on track where they should be, right on track where everybody predicted them to be. And I see nothing otherwise that should change that unless something crazy happens. And it's the NFL. You never know what'll happen. Mickens, I just want to get to some things that are old, but still he's no longer on the team anymore. Now, I know some people aren't sure what happened. Well, I'll show you what happened. Per his.
Yeah. I ain't heard, ain't nothing wrong with me, but you know what I'm saying? If you don't understand why I ain't playing, just go look it up. It's some bullshit. But look, we about to go ahead and win this game. I'm about to go ahead and put the game on these inches. You studying me. Let's get going. Let's go, Bucks. Yeah. Let's go, Bucks. Yeah. This is nigga be hyping for the game right there. Let's go, Bucks.
And that was the moments after he goes released from the team, shooting yourself in the foot and losing the job over just keeping your mouth shut. And you saw Des Bryant days later talking about he's going to retire, being on the sideline in the Ravens game against Dallas, his former team, and then being pulled from the field abruptly, saying he had a positive test result. So I can understand his frustration. And on top of it, if you're going to pull him, not pull him from any game, don't pull him from the Dallas game. You know how bad he wanted to play in that game? I can only imagine what he felt and what he wanted to do when to play in that game. Crazy how that happens. I see you down there, Deshaun. We're just going to get through these and then we'll get into all that. LeGarrette Blount retired. One of my favorite backs. They put a tribute out for him. I wish LeGarrette Blount would have stayed here all these years, but I wish nothing but the best for him. He was a release of a Greg Schiano debacle, much like you let her lead in Sacker and Michael Bennett leave and go to Seattle and win a Super Bowl. You let LeGarrette Blount wins 3 Super Bowls release. So those 2 guys were released from this team and went on other places to win Super Bowls. I've got nothing against them. The head coach didn't want them here. So, I mean, what do you want them to do? So their career has to go on. So I'm happy that those positive things happen for them guys because they wanted to be here and the powers that be did not. So, and the best thing was about Blount when he won the first Super Bowl. He said he had never won anything in his life, and he won the Super Bowl. So it was. I thought that was kind of cool for him to win a Super Bowl. And remember, LeGarrette Blount was a guy who punched a player at Boise State, went undrafted, punched a guy at Tennessee Titans. It was kind of a troubled player and was picked up here. And you saw what happens. Another undrafted player that the Bucks picked up, and they got major production out of him and went on to win 3 Super Bowls, 2 with other teams, 2 separate teams, Eagles and 2 with the Patriots. So here's a little something. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I wanted you guys to check out the tribute they put out for him.
That he's presented me with in my life. And I just want to thank the Buccaneers organization, the Steelers organization, the whole Patriots organization, the entire Philadelphia Eagles organization, the Lions organization, everyone that ever gave me a chance and a shot to become the player I was and the man that I am and allow me the opportunities to be a part of the organization. I just thank them so much. Without all of you guys, I wouldn't have had the career that I've had. I wouldn't have been as successful as I've been. Countless playoff yards and touchdowns, 3 Super Bowls, and, just experiences that a lot of guys will never get to experience in their career. So I just want to say thank everyone so much, and I really appreciate it.
The Garrett Blount, everybody. Retired. Miss him. I do. I always love bigger running backs. A guy with nimble feet. It's like Derrick Henry, just guys with massive size and athletic ability, and was always durable. It was never hurt. It was always around. Why wouldn't you want guys like that to remain like a team? It's just I don't understand the decisions that are made sometimes with the powers that be or the things that go on. There's so many answers that even media members, fans, or people you'll just never know until you hear from the players themselves and things like that. It just sucks watching guys like that leave that had such success here, and just him and Michael Bennett might ring me up too from right there from the get-go. Bennett was released for Daquan Bowers, and Michael Bennett was the leading sacker on this team the year before. Just decisions, and I just can't sometimes. So it's crazy. I see you, Deshaun, down there going crazy. Let's go into the winning angle real quick and bring Deshaun on. We'll talk about all that. And then, of course, me and Deshaun will finish up later on with the predictions of the game. We'll see what Madden has us on. You never know what Madden and its predictions kind of crazy. So let's see what we got this week for the winning angle. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2020 are very aggressive, and that's what scares me. As you can see here, the Chiefs take advantage of that, as will the Vikings if they're watching the same film I'm watching. You see all these guys down here in the box. All Patrick Mahomes has to do is a simple motion, fake handoff right here. And Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one of the leading run-stopping defenses in the league, all act aggressively on that play action. Everybody's watching the backfield and not paying attention to the wide receivers out going for routes. Tyreek Hill's able to slip out on a wheel route behind Sean Murphy bunting and able to get a big gain to start off the game. We'll look at it from another angle. Same thing here. You get a front view of it. Tyreek Hill in motion. Linebackers antsy to stop a run. React to the run. Totally forgot the responsibilities in pass coverage. From what I've gathered, the Minnesota Vikings like to go vertical to Justin Jefferson. 5 games in a row with 100-yard receiving. They like to go attack single high safety with a double move inside, then go back outside, leaving the defender behind. Kirk Cousins throws the ball to the outside, kind of underthrown, but nonetheless wide open Justin Jefferson for an easy touchdown. Here's again from another angle. Motion, key that motion. Kyle Rudolph will take you to the ball. Kyle Rudolph seals down the end so he can't get upfield to pressure Kirk Cousins. Cousins has plenty of time to deliver that ball to the wide receiver. Again, kind of underthrown. Winfield will have a chance to get his hands on those balls. Here it is. Much as things change, they stay the same. Last week against Dallas, single high safety. Where's Justin Jefferson in the slot? Inside move, get the safety cheating outward, cut back to the open space. Kirk Cousins able to deliver the ball. Again, underthrown, but it's a touchdown to rookie Justin Jefferson. 1,000-yard receiving rookie season already with 4 games to go. Here it is, another angle. Inside release, get the safety to cheat, come back outside to the open space. Easy throw for Kirk Cousins, who gets the ball to Justin Jefferson for a touchdown. My spotlight player of the game, Eric Kendricks, monster in the middle. Let's check this play out here, how his linebacking instincts lead him to an interception. Slowly pursuing this run fake, as I talked about earlier with the Bucs and the Chiefs, drops back into coverage, not knowing there's a tight end behind him, gets under the route, makes a great interception. Tom Brady cannot lose track of where Aaron Kendricks is. When Vikings go play action, the Bucs have to attack it. Here's a reason why. Jacksonville is able to get good pressure on the Vikings and Kirk Cousins on this play action play, is what you'll see several times in the game against Tampa Bay. Kirk Cousins is looking for Dalvin Cook out here in the flats. Linebackers reading him the entire way. Cook does not know the ball is thrown. Linebacker's in perfect position to make this interception and takes it to the house for a pick six. Look for Devin White and Levante David to be doing that. Thanks for watching and enjoy the game. There you have it. Now, luckily, Kendricks won't be playing this game, so Tom Brady won't lose track of him because he'll be on the sideline. So that's a good thing. And speaking of good things, there's Deshaun Tidson.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are we doing today?
Good. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Hey, let me just chime in a little bit on that winning angle. I was getting some stuff in, and I was like, listen, as we play our defense, we saw what happened against the Chiefs. We had that single high safety look. That's something that we got to watch real carefully. I really don't want him to be in that single high safety, even though it's going to signify some man on the outside and some blitzes that were going to be, packed in there. The next part about that is, our type of corners are susceptible to double moves, and they are that because of the way the team is built. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. And let me explain. When you get sticky look corners, our corners have been several times. You see them, they get beat on double move, or you see them looking inside. That look technique that they're employing, and they're being very sticky. So they'll bump or they'll stay with the receiver within to a certain range, but they're looking inside. And what happens is when corners have defensive fronts and defensive lines that get a lot of pressure, they tend to look because they feel like, the ball's going to either come out quick. So they sit on the first route, on the first cut, the end cut, or whatever. When that receiver is able to take it back because pressure is not working in their favor, so the front and the back end are not working together, then you get caught on double moves. Nothing's declared enough for the safety to help out anywhere. And that's one of the things that gets me a little bit nervous with this defense. But I do anticipate them. Another thing about that same concept that you were saying, Blake, is the rollout. Now, you didn't put the rollout in there, but listen, this team, when they run their play action, is going to be a lot of rollouts this week because we're so fast. Extremely fast defenses get beat in the one direction. Expect to see counters and rollout passes just to see if someone doesn't stay sound to their run fits and things of that nature. That's going to be for the counters. And then I expect rollouts just because we're so fast in one direction. I'm expecting to see the quarterback rolling out, trying to get the ball vertical.
I just didn't go into in the video. I put it on the to-do list. It was play action pass. Don't be too aggressive into the play action, just like you described. Don't get you going one direction because they're going to rely on Cook. You're going to get a heavy dose of Cook, and if the run succeeds, then you're going to start biting on those runs, and they're just going to play action. What they like to do is normally motion Kyle Rudolph down to seal the end off so he can't get the Kirk Cousins upfield, and then he just delivers the ball to one of those receivers running a double move on the outside. What they've done lately is they like to go vertical to Justin Jefferson, and they like to go underneath intermediate routes to Adam Thielen, which is a great receiver in this league for quite some time now. But Justin Jefferson offers a great vertical deep threat now with size and length and speed now. The only other thing I thought, but when Kirk Cousins lacks in those deep balls, he underthrows those balls a lot. He doesn't have quite the arm strength. So if Antoine Winfield, Mike Edwards, Sean Murphy, but whoever defensive back is back there, I recommend to play very aggressively on those deep balls because a lot of those are going to come up short past 40 yards because Kirk Cousins is not known for a big, powerful arm.
So I'm expecting Carlton Davis to actually do well in that factor because, regardless of what happened with, with the Chiefs, he is the top corner in this league. You got to respect the man. And listen, aside from getting those penalties, which he doesn't really pull down as much anymore, he's a lockdown corner. Like I've been seeing a lot of stuff about Ramsey lately, and I've been seeing the last couple of games. I see Ramsey getting a ton of penalties. Well, look, expect this game. I'm expecting for Carlton Davis. He's one of those players that can peel off his man when that ball's in the air, and he does have a lot of length. So I expect him to be able to, just kind of cover some ground. And placement for Winfield will really be where I'm at for him. I think we're either at that rookie wall or we're past the rookie wall at this point. So, a break was probably well needed for this team. I can't wait to see just how they are. But another key to the game for me too is once again, we got soft tissue injuries. Like, I want to know who the strength and conditioning coach is. Like, come on, bro. This has to get the whole league at the beginning. We had all those soft tissue injuries with everybody across the league. But now to have Mike again with the hamstring issue, that to me right now kind of pushes. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, where are we at with that? So I would expect the team to do a little bit better. But fear not, Buccaneer fans, because to be honest with you, if Mike Evans is off the field, we're going to get a heavy dose of Chris Godwin. He's going to block on a run, which makes what he does very deceiving. So all of his motions are not just motioning to block, and you don't know what he's going to do. And then you'll get a taste of AB, and we might even get a Scotty Miller sighting. But I'm going to tell you, with AB on the field and pulling the reps that he's pulling, a lot of times if I'm a defensive coordinator and I see Scotty Miller on the field, much like you as a fan, I know we're going to go deep to him within 1 or 2 shots. We're going to take a shot. And that doesn't fool a defense. That's not how it's the same thing with when it was third down last year with Mbugwale.
Close.
Yeah. It was the same thing with him. It's third down. It's like, well, he's not really that threat of a runner. He does block on third down pretty decent. So, we'll see. Hey, let me ask you this, Blake. Do you have any idea that we may see Bonner a little bit, or I wouldn't say we're going to see Shady, but you think we'll see Bonner a little bit, or maybe Vaughn, or do you think he'll get Fournette a little bit on third down? When I watched BA's presser, he was like, well, and I don't expect him to give true insight to the game or who he's going to be out there, but what do you think we're going to see?
He did say before, he said they're going to try to change up some things. So, yeah, he did leave that kind of open.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the backs, Ronald Jones is third in the league, or was it fifth in the league in rushing? 1 or 2.
Yeah. He's either fifth or fourth right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really like it's like we said before the break, it's really consistency and execution in the play.
That's it.
I mean, I have no other word for it. I mean, everybody else can say, oh, you got to get the ball to this person. You got to get the ball to that person. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't execute the play properly. You're not going to get any yards. You can't convert third downs. And that was the story. You couldn't convert third downs. 3 for 9 on third downs last week. Ain't going to win you very many games. And that offers you more plays to open up. But, I mean, it's a possibility to put Keyshawn Vaughn or somebody else in. To me, throwing those guys in unless they needed to be in, people that aren't messing up the continuity of the offense of your predicted starters. To me, to just throw them in just to throw them in to make somebody happy is just not a good strategy move. You did see Keyshawn Vaughn, you did see Tyler Johnson in the Bears game, because people were banged up and injury on a short week. Mm-hmm. That's when you use those guys in those weeks like that. But to just use them for the sake of just using them, I just don't think so, because, I mean, really, Keyshawn Vaughn's not offering anything that Leonard Fournette or Ronald Jones is offering. He's doing the same things that they're doing. Neither one of those two are injured currently. So, I mean, Mike Evans, we'll see what happens with the wideout position with Evans still dealing with a hamstring injury, so we'll see how that happens. We already know that teams like the game plan to take Mike Evans away. That seems to be the Achilles heel of this Bucs offense. You just take away Mike Evans and make all these other guys earn their keep, and which they haven't been doing. And with not just them either. Tom Brady has missed a lot of throws on big downs and third downs, and guys have dropped passes and not made their hot reads. Same conversations that we had in 2019. But we're talking about 2020. But that's really what a lot of it's been, Deshaun.
Yeah, listen, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm telling you, listen, the big take for me right now is, coming out of this, I pretty much watched everybody's presser. Tom saying, hey, he's got a lot more continuity. everybody's being very careful not to throw anyone else under the bus. BA had said before, because when you catch BA right after the game, he's like, Tom's holding his own place, and then how he had to walk it back a little bit.
You can't ask loaded questions like that right after a game because the emotions are high. You got to wait till Monday to ask them when you're done and you thought about it and you could talk.
But listen, I even watch when I'm watching, I'll watch BA. So you got your head coach, then you watch your OC and your DC. Listen, I feel like you get a good amount from Todd Bowles when you watch his pressers. Now it's very close to his chest, but you don't have to read much between the lines. He kind of gives you, if you know what you're looking for, he gives you that. But when I listen to Byron Leftwich, it just feels like all fluff, all coach speak. I'm like, what's going on with he talks a lot about nothing. And it's always the same thing.
Yeah, I used a lot of his pressers last year. He talks in circles a lot. He doesn't really say much. He doesn't really give anything away. So I know exactly what you talk about. That's why I don't really use Leftwich.
His interviews are very not good.
Yeah,
he's like interviewing a middle schooler. Like, you ask him a question, he and it's 2 minutes to answer. He repeats the question that took 45 seconds before he answers you. So I'm like, listen, okay, no problem. Yeah, we'll just see on Sunday what we're gonna get out of this offense. And listen, we got to get something out of this offense. We've been hearing for a long time, we got to start fast. I just got to see it at this point. And we have enough weapons to do it. And I'm with everyone else. Listen, I don't need to take out Ronald Jones out the game right now because, to be honest with you, some of these guys just seem like they just need to warm up. Where the layups, where the alley-oops to get these guys some nice, easy touches to warm up. If we're going to go, double tight, heavy look, and then run inside on first down, I mean, what's the numbers of odds on that? I need to get Vegas odds on that right now. I need to get Vegas odds on that. Like, first down, first play of the game, we're going to run the ball. Inside, too. We're going to run inside first play. Like, how many times have we seen that on first down? And then when we get behind the sticks, we're looking like, what happened? Like, do we have anything else? Can we do anything else?
That's a double-edged sword.
That's not going to work this week, I don't think. I think this is a tough team against the small run.
We will need to run the ball, and we can wear them down. And I think the team that controls time possession a little bit better in this game is going to be the team that wins, because make no mistake about it, the Vikings are a run team, which means they control the clock. Mm-hmm. They're used to controlling the clock. And that also means their defense has been bred to get off the field. They're not used to staying on long drives. They're also a team that loves to play a run-based team. So we're going to need to do a little bit more things. I don't think we should be thirsty to get any one person the ball. That's whether it's a runner, whether it's AB, Mike Evans, whomever. We should not be thirsty or over vigilant in getting any one person the ball. Tom Brady needs to take what's there and continue to move the ball down, stay on pace, and that's where he succeeds at.
I agree. They're going to run the ball heavy, and it's going to wear down the defense in the fourth quarter if you continue to have them on the field. And they're just going to run those misdirections while you're going to be tired to try to chase them down, then cover somebody right out of the play action. I agree. You're going to have to – the offense is going to have to help the defense, and defense is going to have to help the offense. And the running on early downs, I mean, as you were saying, it's a double-edged sword, especially early in the game. You want your offensive linemen to hit people. You want everybody to get in the flow of the game. That's why you kind of like run the ball early in the games. Let everybody put hands on each other, the first play, and then get kind of going. It's just you usually want to get that on that first early drive. You want to get your third down. So, okay, now we can really start opening up now. Everybody done got in the flow now. Everybody's blood's boiling and pumping. But
and moving, yeah. Not just – I get it. But, see, I think one of the big things with us is always, it's execution. So when you run that first down play and you don't pick up the three, no, look, I've been for the all-star. And shout out to LeGarrette Blount that you just played his. I've always been a big back person. I've always been looking for the big back because I feel like, listen, you make a 1 yard run and fall forward for three. I'll take that all day. I'll take 3 yards in a cloud of dust all day and take a win. I just have an issue with 1 yard runs that are stuffed in the backfield. And then we go to the tape and I see Donovan Smith not touch the defensive end. And he stepped in literally behind the guard and cleans up the running back because he had depth in the backfield. That's not something that I'm like, listen, okay, that is, once again, that's execution. And guess what? Every time that we pull a tight end over to Donovan Smith's side and help him out, okay, the run goes well, but guess what? People watching film, they get that, so that's one of the majors that I like to see. I'm hoping that Jamel Dean is back there. I hear he has the groin injury. Once again, another soft tissue type of situation. Hopefully he's good to go. He's cleared concussion protocol. He's been at practice, but I saw BA said he had the groin area, like kind of who knows what's going on. So, and that could be game time, it sounded like. So, but if he's back and this is a Bucs team that if we're full staffed after, basically, an 8-day off period, full staffed, everyone's there, we should be able to bring the noise. And we're going up against a team that what they do best, we defend the best. So I'm looking for a slobber knocker, and I expect our linebackers and our defensive ends or outside linebackers to just get off in this game. And if they do, trust and believe, we'll be firing those cannons.
Yep, and it's like you said earlier with a lot of these soft tissue injuries. Now Dean went from concussion to a groin injury. Now Sean Murphy-Bunting was ailing since the Raider game with a groin injury. I think he's recovered now. And I think Carlton had a knee injury, so that's a little different. He had a sore knee, I believe it was. Probably bumped it in practice against somebody. But yeah, just see these injuries keep ailing on. I just really to me personally, I'm kind of disappointed to see all these injuries come up. I really thought that them coming into the bye week, everybody would come out, a lot better than they are. Here we are. I put this injury report together. I'm like, you guys are still hurt? Like, what's going on? Like, you still dealing with a hand? What are you guys doing?
The strength and conditioning coach. Like, what are we not getting there? We've had the same type of injuries over so many times and so many players. And I get the nature of the sport, but that's what they're paid to do. They're paid to prep these guys for this type of intensity. So, I mean, if we get Mike Evans and this is a reoccurring injury, okay, he took off this time. You said that we were good. He was back. He seemed to be 100%. SMB has never seemed to be 100% to me. He seemed to be working back to it. And I felt that Todd Bowles alluded to it in his presser. Mm-hmm. Like we didn't know, and they never said anything, but he clearly alluded to it in his presser. And you saw it a couple of times in the games. I know for sure. I saw him playing wide out. I saw him being the outside corner, and it was an in cut that someone caught on him, and he just could not move. He caught a penalty on that one. You just saw him stick that foot, and the rest of his body just was not going. So he just grabbed the receiver, and he took the penalty. Now listen, when the DC doesn't fly off and pull you for that, they already know that you have an issue. And they're just like, just help us out. Same way as Mike when he's laboring out there and we know he's not 100% and they don't throw him the ball, but he's just to take the double coverage,
He's got to be out.
And at some point, we force at some point we get the ball to him just to show that, just to keep him honest. Like, oh, yeah, we know you're double coveraging, but at the moment when they decide that we won't double cover Mike, oh, no, let's throw it to him just so we can keep the safety over there. We should be taking advantage of that.
I'm going to say right now, Antonio Brown's got to get the damn ball. Antonio Brown has got to open up this offense. Tom Brady's missed him on several passes. I've seen him open on several plays where he's gone to somebody else. Mike Evans has been shown to not read his hot routes right, which caused an interception last week. Granted, it's Brady's decision. He threw a bad ball and he hit the guy in the helmet. It's an unfortunate thing that happened. But it happened.
It was more of a bang bang that what to do. And listen, Tom Brady said it to him without chewing him out and yelling at him. But it was really more of this is what you're supposed to do in this instance. You're a pro. I didn't know that we had to have continuity for you to see that blitz right in front of you and then not turn around and continue running your natural route.
Yeah, and what Deshaun's breaking details on, if you remember that play, the corner Ramsey, no, it wasn't. Yes, Ramsey was on that side, was on the left side of the offense. He was down at his normal position. Whoops. He was down at his normal position, and the safety was back far off of Evans at that. It was a safety that was back far off of Evans. And Evans is supposed to turn around real short route there. He kept going and forgot his hot read, and which forced Brady to throw an error throw. He was technically trying to throw it away, but he threw it back, but it just hit the guy in the helmet. But that, like you said, you're a veteran. You've been here long enough. Like, why are we still having this conversation 12 weeks into the season? Why are we still talking about this now?
Yep. We shouldn't be. We just, you know what? The offensive line holds up. I'm expecting the offense to be able to come out here. Listen, let's stay on. I watched all the pundits so far. What I've been seeing, worst case scenario, they have us going 3-1, splitting with Atlanta Falcons. I need us to go ahead, take care of business, get Rojo his 45 yards on the ground, so we can stay on course to get this guy 1,000-yard season. We get that, we're in the playoffs, and we're going to go from there.
Absolutely. Rojo has to get his 1,000-yard cast it. Well, he's going. It should, unless barring something crazy happening, he should get his 1,000 yards happen. I think we talked about it Monday. 140 yards they need. That's all they needed was 140 yards, rushing 160, something like that.
Yeah, I think he needs just like 165 or something. He needs about 45 a game. So that's where he's at. He needs about 45 a game to get that 1,000-yard season. And guys, when you hear us talking about it, it's just simple that, along with everything else that we have, 1,000-yard rushing season out of him keeps the defense honest enough and showing enough where a quarterback can work his magic. If you're fully one-dimensional, then that becomes a problem offensively. And that's the same. Listen, it's no different for the Vikings. If this number one rush defense that we have can stop the Vikings from doing what they do and make them one-dimensional, and that can happen two ways. Tom Brady can affect that without the defense by going out, putting up points in the first quarter and the second quarter. When they're giving the ball, if we get takeaways to get 3 and outs, the offense has to go down and score. If they're down by 14, down by 21, the Vikings are not the Bucs. They actually stick to the run game because that's the horse that brung them. And unfortunately, you kind of got to get them down by 3 touches for them to go away from it pretty haphazardly. And when they do, we're just not going to get beat by their quarterback at this point. We're not going to get beat by his arm.
Yeah, and speaking of it, let's talk about a little bit of the details, what the Vikings are bringing. Passing Kirk Cousins is currently at 3,073 yards with 26 TDs, 12 INTs, and he's sacked 25 times. So the offensive line hasn't been a strong point in Minnesota for quite some time, since the days of Chad Hutchinson. I can't remember the other guy where they had that nice left side of that offensive line where they were running with Adrian Peterson for so long. Dalvin Cook is currently sitting at 1,250 right now, 1,250 yards and 13 touchdowns as advertised. We're already aware of that. The killer is Justin Jefferson with 61 receptions, 1,039 yards, 7 TDs. Adam Thielen with 75 receptions, 721 yards, and 12 touchdowns. So that's it. And their defense has a lot of interceptions as well. Of course, you got the veteran in Harrison Smith, who's going to be great in run support, not particularly good in coverage. He does have 4 interceptions. Them losing Eric Kendricks, it hurts because he has 3 interceptions, and the other linebacker has 3 interceptions. So from the linebacker spot, they have 6 interceptions from the LB spot, plus they added 4 from the safety. So these defenders are getting their hands on balls, and it's probably because of they're probably bringing a lot of heat up front. So as you said, you got to keep that defense guessing and not kind of playing the Minnesota's offense. I kind of had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to take some shots deep to kind of keep these defensive backs back, because I think if you play a lot of short game, it's playing to their strengths, hence why these linebackers have a lot of interceptions, six total, 3 apiece from 2 of them, plus your safety that's playing in the box mostly. So that's a lot of interceptions.
That's why we have to spread it out on this team, Blake. I feel like, listen, everybody's always worried about last couple of weeks we've been hearing about our identity. Listen, defense is what they do depicts what you do. There's certain things that teams do. There's certain things that every team does, right? Everyone has it in their playbooks, but that may not be the personnel's favorite play, depending on who's in. But this week against this team that normally heavy run teams tend to play the run fairly decent. They tend to have fairly decent fronts. And guess what? It's ones on ones. You know, if you go to, I know we're talking about the pros, but let me tell you something. We go to any college, whoever has the best run, you know, offensive line and running, their defense has seen the best. They practice against them all the time. And guess what? Iron sharpens iron. They're ready. They're pretty decent there. Guess what? What they're not going to be good at is facing 4 wideouts. You know, 4 wideouts. And listen,
not the strength.
That's not a strength of them. And guess what? It's an advantage for us because I don't know. I don't care who you want to put at that 4th wideout. Listen, if you got AB, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin out there, you can pick the mismatch right away. And it's not many. And guess what? I know they have 2 pretty decent safeties. We can run stuff. And like you said, we can get AB the ball. We already know that one of those safeties in a corner is tied up with Mike Evans, and they have to be. They have to be. If they decide to single him, we'll get at that right away.
And they're real thin at linebacker as well. The backup is Todd Davis to Eric Kendrick, who's just currently out. Eric Wilson is the other quarterback. I forgot his name. That he has 2 interceptions as well. 3 interceptions, excuse me. Yep. So the corners are Cameron Dantzler, Jeff Gladley, and then their backups are Chris Boyd, Harrison Hand. Those guys could be taken advantage of in the secondary if Tom Brady can get time to throw. It shouldn't be an issue to move this ball vertically down the field. Now, me and Deshaun are saying that you should line up in 4 wide all game. Of course not. Yeah. Still implement the run. You still can run the ball out of shotgun. You still can do all the things you need to do, 12 personnel, whatever you want to go with that series. Byron decides to run that series. Got to execute the plays. That's really been the issue in this offense. That's why I get so worked up about people talking about the play call. I'm like, they're running the same plays since 2019. The difference is you're not executing the same. You're just not executing.
And we have to execute. We have to execute. Listen, if we can execute right now, if we can execute on this team, we will come out and we'll dominate a team. Within this last 4 games, we have to have we just really have to have some domination. Now, great. I want domination. We can win games just like the Steelers have been winning, and I'll be fine with the win, right? But I saw the Steelers. It was like, dude, you're getting way too many games that you're winning by a field goal, 2 points, 3 points, and you're not. You're winning, and we're all going to take a win, but we know you didn't dominate that team. You know, it's almost like you struggled for every little bit that you got. Well, in this last 4 games, the Buccaneers need to. We've been hot and cold. We've been a little lukewarm about it. We definitely need to turn the heat up offensively, defensively. I've heard BA in his presser talk about maybe they need to let the dogs loose. I heard them asking Todd Bowles about letting the dogs loose as referring to Devin White and the outside linebackers. And I think, listen, I wanted to check the stats here in a second. I want to see where we're at. Does JPP have 10 sacks already this season?
I don't think he's at 10 yet. I think he's right on the cusp. It's like, I think he was like 8.5 the last time I checked.
Yeah, I think he was 8. The last time I remember, I think he was at 8.5. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, he got a sack against Mahomes. Should put him right on the cusp of 10. He's going to get double digits. I have no doubt. And then I know everybody's tripping about Shaq Barrett not having double digit sacks, but he does lead the league in pressure. He's getting to the quarterback.
Listen, he's getting all types of pressure. Getting home and listen. He would get home a lot more. And that brings me to another key thing that I know for sure. You spoke about it last week, but he would get there a lot more, if not the lack for Vita Vea, which brings that pressure up the middle. And it doesn't allow a quarterback to climb the pocket. But guess what? I've heard McClendon is not 100%. And what that says to me is that Khalil Davis, who played for the amount of snaps that he played, very quick twitch. I felt like he did get pressure. I felt like his hand work, hand placement, he got off blocks. Mm-hmm. He played very well. I think we could see him. I think we could very much see him in there, especially if McClendon's down. Clearly at this point there, Nacho is more rotation, which he's always been. So it's no knock on him. It's just that you're asking him to do more than what he's really able to do. Even McClendon kind of starts over Nacho, but they didn't come in and just, they just try to split time over there from reps. But I say if McClendon's not feeling well and we get a little more Khalil Davis this week, he could be a difference maker on that defensive line.
definitely in the pass department. He's not a huge run stuffer, but I'm sure he'll do what he needs to do. McClendon did have I think it was an elbow. Excuse me. He had an elbow injury, and I think he's full participation today from what the Buccaneers just put out. But yeah, I mean, he's still banged up. Everybody's banged up. It's just how much can you play at 100%? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And production you're getting out of it.
I think they would go with McClendon because he is definitely the big body stuffer, right? He's definitely that. But at some point in the game, you got to have some quick twitch in there. And I see Khalil Davis having that quick twitch, and he just seems to be very nimble for a guy his size. And he's very young. Good. He's watched. He's sat. He's been a Padawan for a long time right now. He's been watching. He's been learning the ways. And I think it's time for him to use the Force.
Star Wars reference. But yeah, it's a good week, especially with all this play action going on with Kirk Cousins in this offense. It should be good. You saw him last week run. As I did the break, well, not last week, 2 weeks ago. I ran down Patrick Mahomes in a foot race to the sideline. He hawked him down while stumbling. So he's got the speed to chase down these quarterbacks, and it's great. Like I said, he couldn't have came on a better time. 4 weeks to go. Got plenty of learning under his belt. All he's got to do is go out and play. You ain't got to learn the playbook no more. You just got to go out and play. And then with the playoffs coming up, he could be a huge contributor to the pass rushing department.
He definitely could be. Hey, I see Eric in the chat. Hey, what's up, Eric? Eric says he's with me with that. I mean, listen, I think defensively at the front, this is a game that we're prepared for. Now, once again, every game is all about execution. And the Vikings are a team that lines up. You know what they're going to do, and they execute. We got to get Dalvin Cook to the ground. Blake, where do you think our linebackers match up with getting Dalvin Cook on the ground?
I don't think it'll be a problem. It's just getting them off the field is the problem. They got to get off the field on third downs. So not the backup Alexander Madsen is out as well. I didn't mention that. I think he had an illness. He's out. So there's no backup. Well, the normal backup. And Alexander Madsen's been a great backup when Cook's out, but it's going to be pretty much Dalvin Cook running the ball. They got to get him off the field so they don't have to stay on the field as long and taking that kind of punishment with them running. Because Minnesota, when he was out, when Cook is out, that offense is a whole lot different in Minnesota. I think they pointed out last year when Cook missed a little bit of time. I think he was like 70% or 80% of the offense when he was in, much like Matt Forte was for Chicago for a long time. He was a lot of the offense was pushed.
The offense runs through him. The offense runs through him completely. And I would love to see our team go out here and I don't want to see them looking past this team. I don't want to get that feeling. I don't think we should have that feeling in any way, but I don't want to see that as we get out here. What I really would love to see is just a constant, just a Brady offense come out, a Buccaneer offense rather come out and move the ball down the field, kind of hold time possession. Because just think about it, when we're getting time possession, we're going to take our shots, of course, because every team's going to take their shots. But we can not necessarily dink and dunk, but I think we have great route runners in Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and from time to time, Mike Evans. But we can throw a Scotty Miller in there and things like that. And I think those underneath routes, broken tackle out of AB or Godwin that showed you they have the ability to do that. I'm very happy to see. I haven't really seen it out of Scotty Miller yet, to be honest with you. I know we talk about him being a Wes Welker type. Nah, not really. No. He's just to take the top off the defense type right now. He hasn't shown any of the underneath stuff. Tyler Johnson, for the other hand, though, he seems like he can do it all too. So, those are receivers I'm looking to do. But if we get the Mike Evans that breaks tackles, if he's okay at game time, I'm happy to see him out there too.
Yep. Ben Parrish says it correct. Got to win third downs on both sides. Avoid quick 3 and outs, especially when D puts us in scoring position. Absolutely. And it's the same thing. Offense can't turn over the damn ball and put the defense in a vulnerable position and expect them to keep bailing them out. They've done that a few times. They've gotten turnovers in situations and the offense goes 3 and out, does nothing with the ball. That's just been the story. Execution, you're going to hear it 1,000 times. That's what the issue's been. And definitely got to convert. You got to do better to 3 for 9 on third downs if you're going to plan on beating the Minnesota Vikings this week. Because as you stated earlier, they're going to run the ball, clock management, and try to avoid turnovers from the quarterback, because Kirk Cousins will turn the ball over if he gets flustered. And
well, see, that's where I think is going to be key, Blake. Like, look at this, Blake. Here's going to be a huge key for us. You come out and we have a first down against the Chiefs that are also a air it out, no risk it, no biscuit type of team. You can also get a 3 and out on them. So it'll be a wash, right? We get a 3 and out, they get a 3 and out. They traveled in. We played a field position game a little bit. Listen, we were back and forth in that game. The Vikings will have a much lower scoring game, but burn all the clock out. They'll take all the air out the ball at that point. So you get a 3 and out, and then they go on a 8-minute drive that kills the whole rest of the first quarter. That's it. And we had a drive for 16 seconds or less. 16 seconds. We need to look. I'd just be like, look, we're not gonna have no 60-second drives. You don't even snap the ball. We're in the first quarter. What are we rushing for?
Yep, there's no rushing. There's no rushing at all. Take your time. You got all the time in the world, especially in the first quarter. And you want the Minnesota. If Bucks can go up early on Minnesota and get them to come out of that run game, and then force them to try to be a 4 wide, 3 wide vertical.
And that's not where they're comfortable. They're going to make mistakes, and we're going to eat.
If they can get in that situation, this will be a big day for Tampa, and we should come away with a victory, barring something catastrophic happens. But if you leave it in a situation where it's a 6-point game, 7-point game, 13,
they're going to stay where they're comfortable.
They're going to stay where they're comfortable at, and you're going to keep seeing Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook will catch the ball out of the backfield. Don't get that messed up either.
Listen, this is another. I can't wait to see what Peter Blake has to say about it, because listen, this is another person that we talked about drafting. That somewhere down the line we're like, oh, is this person going to be great? Is that person going to be great? Well, this is one of the backs that we were like,
it was that.
We wanted to pair with he who name shall not be said at this point. We wanted to pair him and give him a running back, and this is that running back. Looks like he's doing well for himself.
They made the right choice, not sticking him here in Tampa. Davin Cook, me and Peter had this conversation, and I told him, I said, Davin Cook would probably be arrested or something if he was down here in Tampa Bay. He had problems staying out of legal trouble at Florida State. He's from Miami. Now you stick him here in Tampa Bay, and it's 4 hours to Miami. It's
close to home.
It's too close to home. There's just some guys you can do that to, and there's some guys you can't. I just don't believe Davin Cook would be focused if he was here in Tampa Bay, and while from home was in Miami. You put him in the right place. You stuck him in Minnesota.
What? Minnesota, don't you know?
Cold state, a great place to stick him away from all of that. And I think it was I think that's why it works out so well for him. And then he gets a contract extension. But the back that they did miss out on, and I think the Chiefs traded up to get him, was Kareem Hunt. As Kareem Hunt was the next back on that list, and the Chiefs traded up and selected Kareem Hunt. The Bucks did have him eyed up. So they missed out on some backs in that draft, which selecting O.J. Howard in the first round, which never panned out to his first round grade. So I don't know how you feel about the O.J. Howard pick.
Listen, I mean, it's one of those things like you weren't going to find that. I don't think that's where you reach. That was a big reach to me, for a tight end. But there's several picks that I like, and as I look at the players and I go through, I knew what we're going with this defense. When I saw Vita get picked out of Washington, I was like, okay, this is a guy in the defense. Look at him play. Look at who he's manhandling. Not just that he's beating people, because look at who he's beating and look at what he's doing, and can that transfer? And but then there's other players like we pick up a Jeremy McNichols. Is he even in the league anymore?
Yep, he's actually still playing. I think it's Tennessee.
Tennessee
Titans
didn't make the team though. When you draft someone that doesn't make the team and they don't want to be, that's just. I mean, what is the conversation about?
It was the same reason the Bucks didn't draft Derwin James. He had a chance to work out here. He chose not to. He didn't want to be here. So why are you going to draft?
I don't want to be there. Yeah, and you know what? I think right now, I said it last night on Show on the Bucks Report. Listen, the Buccaneers are definitely moving up. We've had primetime games. We've shown up enough. I'm sure we have a couple of fans that are not fans that are fans at this point. But I think we're moving up enough in the media circus to, make an argument. Right now, we need to make this NFC Championship game this year. It will definitely put us in a different light. And we spoke about it for time and time. Certain players don't go to certain teams. No one wants to come to a bad team. You want to know why we paid Donovan Smith $14 million? Because we got to keep him. We don't want to risk not. We're talking about Trent Williams. Can we get him to come down here? We got to sell him Florida. We're not selling him the Buccaneers. We're selling him no tax. We're selling him everything else.
Florida,
we're selling him the Heat and what type of mansion he can get. We're not selling him come play for the Buccaneers, and that's going to be important when you want to build a legacy. I think Johnny Dean spoke about it. We're talking about picking up linemen. Some great picks on linemen right now. Alex Kappa's hugely panning out. I feel like he's definitely the bouncer. And listen, him with Worse over there. I'm going to tell you, when it comes to your offensive line, when you don't hear, when you listen to me, when it comes to offensive line, when you're not talking about him,
doing
your job, and that right side of this line right now, it is definitely doing it.
With Ryan Jensen as well. So those three have been really, really great. It's the left side. I mean, it's really, to me, it's the tackle position, and I think it kind of makes Ali Marpet look a little bad because he's on that side too. You see plays with Marpet.
That's his boy. They're all together. That is literally like his boy. Like they do stuff. You remember the first couple of, they were having their own show together. They do stuff, and I'm like, dude, okay, are you not telling him to work out better or something like that? So I figure that they are, and that's why I think it's right there. It's all hard. And he doesn't play with it at this point. He doesn't play with it, and you can't buy it.
Aggressive is just not in that man's blood. I mean, I don't care what anybody else says. You just watch the play. You just see soft. I'm sorry, I'm calling a grown man, soft. That's all you see is just soft, man. I would be surprised
to say we got all these coaches. His feet are horrible. Blake, what do you see when you see his footwork?
I would jump and scream at the TV if I saw him drive somebody to the dirt after the play or take a personal foul being nasty, because that's what you just don't see that out of him. And I could get why he's never missed games because of injury, because you don't ever go all out. You never are aggressive.
No. Yeah. It's not the effort. You get, but see, the worst part about it is they normally say, you usually get linemen getting rolled up on and things of that nature. Those things tend not to happen to him because he's not blocking to start with.
The play.
Yeah, he's not involved in the play.
Not involved. That's why he's not getting rolled up on. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's always available, because he's never in the mix of everything. Yeah. He'll find what you see him, he'll block for 3 seconds, and he turns around and starts watching the play. I'm like, what are you looking at? Like, keep blocking.
People are supposed to get rid of that. I'm a lineman and let me watch this running back run. They're supposed to get rid of that in like rec ball or, middle school, things of that nature. That's not supposed to be here in the league where he's turning around and looking. And I mean, listen, the same film, the same snapshots, the same iPad that shows Brady what the plays were are the same ones that the offensive line coach. And I'm sure he doesn't have to. I'm sure he doesn't have to look at any iPad or any snapshots, because he's looking on the field. If anybody doesn't know, every position coach is looking directly at their guys on the field every play. They could care less what the play does. They're looking at the guys that they coach to see if they did the right thing on the play. And there's no way. It just really goes to show you that there's nothing behind Donovan Smith. Absolutely nothing. Because if there was, that person would be in.
As Johnny said, who you going to put in? No, he's right. He's right. Yeah. Who are you going to put in? Josh Wells? There's a reason he hasn't been put in yet. Joe Haig? There's a reason he hasn't been put in yet.
Listen, we brought back Ted Larson this week, and I'm like, yeah.
Played in Arizona, didn't surprise me.
And I was like, okay, he's serviceable, but there's a reason that he's available.
And that's just where we are for those who didn't want to listen to me when I said you need to draft linemen in the damn draft. I said this all off season. This is going to come back to bite you in the ass. I said it. You're drafting wideouts, running backs that aren't even – I mean, Tyler Johnson's a good wideout, but you didn't need him. You drafted Raymond Calais. What the hell for? I said
Listen,
you didn't need him.
we put 2 draft picks. I would have went for a shot in the dark on another. There were 2 big offensive line. It was actually a big offensive lineman and defensive lineman, very large.
Still sitting on the
Yeah,
draft.
and now here's the thing. I don't know how this guy performs, but it is the fake Vita Vea, if you will, the other kid from Washington, the defensive tackle. I think his name is Poe or something.
Yeah,
Poe.
It's a longer name, but they just go by Poe, the short.
Yeah. So
he's almost like a potato, but it's like Poe. Yeah.
Yeah. It was something in that. I don't want to say he's potato, but he's a big guy, and that I'm like, okay, if we just need a cog in the middle to take up space, that dude is that. I've seen him. Now, I don't know if he's impressing in practice or whatever,
probably,
but I'm like, dude, he's definitely that. So maybe we could work with this guy, but I don't mind the way that they're doing the COVID list players and then the practice squad players. I thought they would give them a little more people, a higher number of those people based on COVID. Surprised that they just didn't do that, but we'll have to see. Kind of where it goes.
Absolutely. Speaking of where it goes, let's get into what Madden prediction thinks about the game is going to go into.
Let's go, Madden.
I want to see what Madden's got for us.
Today, from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, this is Madden NFL 21. We'll see Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings.
Should be able to read it as they did there.
The throw down the field, caught by his running back. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Dalvin Cook, 62 yards. And the Vikings have taken a first quarter lead. The underdog here is showing no fear. Great opening drive.
Now, we weren't in the locker room for the pregame speech, but I will guarantee you, somewhere along the way, the head coach said, let's just grab a big stick and smack them with it and let them know we're going to be here today.
And the 11-year veteran bangs it through, and they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. On the drive, 3rd and 5. Again, it's Brady. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Eric Kendricks. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half.
This interception will go on the record of the quarterback, but as a receiver, you've got to understand where you are in the field. Middle portion, you know it's going to come in hot. Square your body to the quarterback and be ready to...
Cousins. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Kyle Rudolph hauling that one in from Cousins. And the Vikings are going to add on to their lead.
You get down near the goal line, this is where having a sure-handed tight end becomes a luxury, and it pays off big time.
10 at the 14-yard line. Into the red zone, it's Brady. And Evans hauls it in. Touchdown, Bucks. Mike Evans there to make the grab. And the Bucks are able to make this a close game again. That's why you've got your star out there. Throw the ball to him. They did.
That's simply saying we don't care what coverage you put out there. He's so good. We're going there with the football anyway.
Working from the gun, it's Brady. And this is caught. They got it. And that could be an important him 2 points. It gets him back within a field goal. I guess the coach looked at the 2-point cheat sheet, said go for it, get it to a 3-point game, and they did it.
Yeah, and sometimes you just throw out time of game. You don't worry about that. There's just a feel sometimes in making that call, and he felt
big spot right here. This to potentially send us to overtime. And his kick is right there. It's good, and they will tie this game here in the final seconds.
Because you're trying to get to the end zone. You're trying to end the game right here. And I know the defensive guys poking, clawing,
and he's into the end zone for the touchdown and the game winner in OT. Partner, a great game that we got to see and making it extra special. Not only did I get 4 quarters with you.
2014, that's a kind of Vikings game. He saw, what was the first play you saw? Was a play action pass thrown to Davin Cook.
Listen, I'm telling you, if Madden ain't doing an update on that one, buddy. I mean, they went right, and you see who was covering Devin White, and he's been beat by running backs on those, and that's one of those Texas routes where he went out, comes back. Look, he got beat on that several times, and listen, and this is their type of game, to be honest with you. That's their type of game. If that game is a slow, low-scoring, mullet out, kind of old-school style game, that's their game. We have to force them to play 2020 football where we got to air out and then force them to, kind of match what type of intensity we're bringing. They're not able to match that, in my belief. At least they couldn't go 4 quarters doing it.
And their line can't do it either.
Mm-mm. And see, here's the next thing. They benefit by being packed in. So if we're going to come in with our overload heavy look, they're used to that and they benefit from that. That's in their skill set. They're very weak if we spread them out, because we're already talking about, listen, their best 2 people in their secondary are going to be those 2 safeties. So now we start saying, hey, the safety's either going to have to walk out and they're going to have to go single high, or they're going to go in their full nickel look, which, keep in mind, we still run out of that. We're still good to go with that. So all I can see is we have a team that we need to play to our strengths in this game. And that's going to be offensively and defensively. If we come off the edge hard and we can stop the run, I just don't want to see overcommits, or we definitely don't need to sit back in this game. We still need to keep our identity. Because our identity is going to be crucial in the first quarter against this team. We need to stop the run, so we need to be who we are in stopping the run. And if we're not gap sound or those big gaping holes in the back, Dalvin Cook will
gash you to death.
He will get big gashes. I mean,
and I can live with Kirk Cousins throwing dime passes, like perfect dime passes to beat us. That's the game he's going to have to beat us. He's going to have to throw perfect balls and good coverage. And like you said, you can't sit back. Don't sit back and give him easy throwing lanes.
That's what I want him to do. I'd rather be surprisingly beat by Kirk Cousins' arm than beat by the beast that I know. I know Dalvin Cook's coming, and we know that. And listen, this is a matchup. I mean, if I was on that defense, this is a matchup that I want. We're the number 1 defense against, arguably, aside from the Titans, probably one of the best running teams. And definitely, let's keep in mind this is a hot team right now. The beginning of the season for them was, rough. My son, a lot of young kids love to say trash, like beginning of the season was trash for them. But right now, they turned it around and they're playing. And, look at the record. Teams are not who you thought they were. The beginning of the season, I thought this was another season for Miami, that they were just going to be another Miami season.
One of the best teams right now.
That team's turned around. You got to think, listen, was it a year ago that they were selling off everything? They're selling the knobs off the doors and, giving everybody away. Well, listen, look at the record right now. They're 8-14. Listen, and they're formidable. They're not the Jets. It's definitely
2 different scales on that. You're right. It's 2 different scales on that. Same division, too. That's
same
crazy.
Same division. And look, everything's changed around. I mean, you look at what happened with the Patriots, and you're like, wait, hold on.
They getting hot.
So I just imagine right now this is going to be a game of who we really are. We've had a long time. This is one of those games, Blake, that you've had all week. You've had tons of times, coach, to come out. I hope you don't overthink it, but we need to come out and execute. Anybody who was banged up got opportunity to get well. No problem. I'm anticipating Chris Godwin got those pins out of his hand. I think he's going to be good to go. I think he's nothing but a consummate professional anyway. So I think he'll be good to go. But I could just see, like, what does he say? AB.
Oh yeah, he said I saw some stats on AB about taking Miller's number 3 spot has hurt the offense dynamic because AB is 32 years old, possession receiver, and isn't a threat to take the top off Miller. I'm like, AB has been open.
I don't think AB is a possession receiver. He's super elusive. And look, it didn't seem to me early that Brady wasn't going to force feed Mike Evans. Mike's gotten passes, but he wasn't going to force feed Mike Evans. Nope. He did seem to go to Scotty a little bit more, trying to hit with him, but it worked a little and it didn't work all the time. Scotty Miller from day one was supposed to be a speedster. I've never truly seen him now
he's a straight line speed receiver.
He had a lot more of where he's really gapping people. He's giving them that gap sauce. I don't see him giving a lot of these DBs that gap sauce. Like, DBs are always right with him for the most part. He has to step on them, but he's supposed to be a take the top off guy. I mean, if it's just one step, then the ball still has to be perfectly on the money. It's not like he's really, stretching this guy. Watch the passes that Brady did not complete to AB. He's got guys stretched the same way. So the fact, if he's 32 and he can do exactly what you can do, basically he's here for a reason.
And
he's elusive.
Yeah, I mean that's the key word. And I know a lot of people are just saying Scotty's faster. Yeah, Scotty has straight line speed. At Bowling Green, all he did was run slants and run seam routes. He didn't do anything else. They ran RPO and they threw it to Scotty in the slot, and then he would just outrun the guy. But this is the pros. It doesn't work that simple.
And I see Eric. I think it's Eric. I think he said Miller's tough. Miller's always injured. I don't know how tough.
Yeah, he's always injured. He's not
he's
tough.
Always injured. Look, the only reason we even saw Watson, Tyler Johnson is because Scotty's injured.
And he doesn't get hit, and he's not getting a hit. I can see he's getting smashed, and he goes out. He's not even getting hit.
Listen, I'll take it one more. We probably wouldn't have AB if Scotty was not injured.
Yep, wouldn't even be in the conversation.
We would have went and picked up something else. We would have picked up another need, in my opinion, than if that was the case. Barring the Brady whole situation. But listen, Scotty's continuously injured, and he doesn't really run in cutting routes. He's not getting blasted.
Ain't winning no 50-50 balls.
He don't do 50-50s.
He ain't even gonna try.
Yeah.
We're gonna try.
Listen, and there's been a couple balls there's been a couple of balls that I would love to have seen him laid out for. Now I see him lay out, but he's kind of 50-50 on his layouts. Some of these post corner routes or just straight corners that I expected him to lay out for, he does not. And it's like, if we take a shot with you, that's a down. You got to give me everything on that. And there's some that it's just like, if the speed doesn't get you, then where is he at? It's just speed. I mean, I like the speed, but we don't always use it in that fashion because we're just not going to get the ball to him. I mean, we've missed a lot of passes. Either it's Brady, if it's if it's not the continuity, but Brady has hit with him. I'll give him that. But, that to me shows that it's Brady more than it's him, because the same thing, look, AB's had 3-4. I've seen Gronk have 3-4 right now, and it's probably more than 3-4. I'm just giving it, I'm taking the low on that, where I know these are touches. These are a tug, if you will, and he missed them, and it's really been on the quarterback, the receiver, whoever, they've been open, so that's kind of the way I look at it. I mean, yes, we have him. And the next thing is when he comes in, I just know he's going deep. And I know the defense knows it too. He doesn't run in cutting routes
or screen pass. It's very simple.
He doesn't even run like as fast as he is. Would you not compliment him to a Tyreek Hill on our team, since he's supposed to be the fastest? And when it was preseason and I heard that Watson lost that 20 pounds and got much faster, that he's the same speed. He ran a 4.4 before. Scotty's only a 4.3. So if he got a second faster, he's a much bigger receiver. And it's just one of those things where we got a lot of guys here, and he just, whatever it is, I really think that Watson's just a low budget Mike Evans, to say that's not necessarily a jump ball guy. He's more of a possession type. Let me think. You remember when we didn't have any receivers and we had Mike Williams, but because we really didn't have any other receivers, and he would be that. Like, he's more of a Joe Juravicious. That's who I think he is. I think Watson is a Joe Juravicious, but we don't need to throw him the ball, so you don't really see what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, he's shown that he can't run good routes, and hence why you haven't seen him playing much. I mean, everybody keeps saying it. I don't know if he's still injured or whatever it is, but you haven't seen him much of doing anything except for that one play he got a sack on special teams.
Yeah.
Sean, I got to get out of here. It's 4:24. You got any final thoughts on the game?
Hey, listen, man, I'm taking the Bucks 28-14. I like to see us go get 4 tugs out there and do what we have to do. Let's go get a win and fire those cannons.
Yeah, I like that. Sean, see you Monday, right?
All right. Back here with you guys.
Yep.
Go Bucks.
And that's it. We'll get out of here, guys. We'll see you Monday. You guys enjoy the game Sunday, Bucks versus Vikings. Hopefully it's happier than the last 2 weeks that the Buccaneers have had with the 2 losses in a row that they didn't have all season. So we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you, guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons if I can fire them.